Acknowledge and celebrate International Women's Day. So for those of you who don't know who I am, because I've never taught you, my name is Miss John, and today we have a special guest from the UK. She's only 14 and she's accomplished so much in her young years. So good morning to Vanessa, because she's in the UK, so it's still just morning, just going into the afternoon. How are you, Vanessa?
I am doing so good. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, it is currently 12:05, so just hit noon.
Thank you so much for joining us. The students are really excited. So thank you for taking the time out to share some of your experiences with us. Now at MIS, we are still teaching online, and I know that your school went back on Friday. So I just wanted to know how it was going back in for the first time in such a long time. So how did you feel?
I think I was very excited to go back to school. I know a lot of people kind of been like, I'd rather stay at home, because some people prefer online school. There are obviously lots of benefits. You can eat during your classes and etc. Or you don't have to wake up as early as usual, things like that. But I think I really kind of wanted that social interaction. So I was very excited to go back to school. So I've only been on a Friday. So tomorrow is going to be like my first full week back at school. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully we kind of go in smoothly.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so how did you cope with lockdown? How did you feel about the whole experience? Because obviously we're living in different countries, but I had a small example of lockdown when I went back to the UK in the summer. And I know when they first announced it, it was quite daunting because we've never been through anything like that before. So how did you feel when it was like, right, the UK are going to go into lockdown? Like, how did you feel about that whole experience?
I mean, I don't think your head really wraps around it until you're kind of like actually stabilized at home for like a few weeks, and you're like, oh, this is actually happening. We're kind of living through this right now. People are probably going to be learning about this in the next 20 or 30 years, perhaps. So it's kind of weird to think about it like that. I guess it was a really great way for us as people to evolve and to learn about ourselves. And since we had so much time on our hands, my first kind of thing to not like, I guess, just do nothing, kind of be bored, because boredom for a very long amount of time isn't the most fun thing to do. So I guess I was trying to keep myself, I guess, distracted in a way, but also trying to be as productive as possible, because you're never going to get the time back. So I think it's definitely a big learning experience about other people, which was also kind of became a reflection of yourself, if that makes sense. So it was definitely just big learning experience over lockdown. So that's kind of, I guess, the advantage of it.
Okay, so I've known you since you were about 11, because I remembered when I started to do private art lessons, and you were my first student that I, had the honor of teaching. And then you moved on from doing that, and then the next minute you're this motivational speaker, and you're doing all these amazing things. And it was just like, wow, having to know you from since you were 11 to seeing how much you've progressed now. So, and I've also involved you in quite a lot of talks in the London schools as well, which has been amazing to have you on this journey as well. So thinking back to your first speaking engagement, how do you prepare for doing any sort of talks? And how old were you when you did your first public talk?
I was actually 9 years old when I did my first public speaking engagement, and it wasn't planned. Like I never planned to become a motivational speaker or to do what I'm doing now. That was never the kind of the idea for me. In fact, I didn't really have an idea, which is completely okay, because I know that usually sometimes we kind of feel pressured to know exactly where you want to go in the future, and that can be really kind of daunting and a big responsibility. So I just wanted to do something that would allow me to help people, but I knew that I didn't have enough dedication to become a doctor to help people in that way. So I was still kind of figuring out, trying to explore different ways on what I could possibly do. And this was already kind of in my head at 9 years old. But I attended this event, and one of the speakers there was like, Vanessa, did you come on stage with me? And me at 9 years old, extremely nervous, was not the ideal, like, expectation going to the event. But luckily I did go on stage, and I think I said some like affirmations or some sort, some quotes that I saw, like, believe in yourself, dreams do come true, something along those lines. And I feel like that kind of became my realization that doing speaking would allow me to help people. And before that, I never knew what a motivational speaker was. And I'd never heard of that or knew that could be possibly a career or job or something you could pursue. So I think that was really the kind of breakthrough for me. But when I prepare for speaking engagements, I don't really write like a whole script, because for me, trying to remember things word by word is really difficult. So usually I just do bullet points, or if or like a person who's running the event, an organizer, asks me, Vanessa, can you talk about, I don't know, your mindset and positive thinking, then I'll do like 3 points, like 3 ways to think positively, so that there's a kind of guideline to it. But I always just kind of do bullet points and go with the flow and see where I can kind of go from that bullet point and from that thinking kind of process, and then expand on that when I'm on stage.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so what's your favorite talking engagement and why?
Oh, very good question. I'd probably have to say Slovakia. I got to speak there, and it was an amazing experience. It was my first time speaking in front of 1,000 people. That was a really big deal for me. And the fact that it was like one of my, I guess, first, like international gigs. It was just amazing that they could fly us out there and that I could do that speaking engagement. So I'll never forget the kind of feeling going on the plane and, going to the hotel and seeing everyone at the event. So I guess not only just the speech is more like the whole experience, the memories that kind of come with that before and after. So I'd probably have to say there. Otherwise, every time I speak at an event and I get to at least impact one person, it's always telling me that I'm doing something correctly to help other people in some way.
Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I know that most parents won't allow children, their children to go on social media. So how do you keep safe, and how do you deal with internet trolls if you have any?
I think, well, definitely here in the UK, we always have those lessons like cybersecurity and everything. So obviously, when I started doing social media at 9 years old, and every single time we'd be in like a computer lesson, they'd be like, okay, so you can't be on social media unless you're like, there's I think maybe 10 or something, and everybody would be looking around at me, and I'm like, guys, it's not just, I'm not just doing it by myself. It's not a secret. You guys all know, my mum knows, including that as well. She does supervise me. So I think there was obviously a lot of superstitions around social media, and although I am a content creator, I can definitely agree and admit that social media isn't the most positive place all the time, even though there are a lot of great things that come out of it. But I think it's simple things like, don't share information online. Don't, when I see YouTubers doing house tours or, a little vlog walking down their street, for me, I would not be able to do that. Even if I had the most glamorous house and I wanted to show it off, I still wouldn't do that just for my own safety. That's just kind of my opinion of things. But I think it's just simple things that you just don't share with people unless you're fully like trustworthy of them or you are close with that person. In terms of internet trolls, I don't really have that many as I used to. I think when I was a bit younger, I used to, because I think I had this comment on my motivational videos that I first did, and that I think got quite a lot of views. So more people see it, which means you kind of get a higher possibility of negative comments, and feedback, I guess, constructive criticism. So this person was commenting on my video and it was like, how does this, I think I was maybe 11 when I did it, how does this 11-year-old know what she's talking about? She's never even been through life yet and she's telling us how to live my life, or something along those lines. And I think I definitely reply back with a nice long answer to, you know, wrap things up. But I guess it's just people don't really understand that it doesn't matter what age you are to go through things and to, you know, struggle with different things and to, yeah, just to suffer, because we can all go through that. It doesn't matter how old you have to be. So life can hit you in any age. So I think it's I guess it was a lot harder for me when I was younger, because I was always like, well, if I'm helping people, why do people, one, not want to be helped, and two, not like me back for doing something that's good for everyone? That was a really big learning curve, especially because people had always told me, well, if you do what you love, then other people will love you. So I think I got cyberbullied when I was 10 from somebody who actually found out later on was in my class. And that was that was a very dark place, I feel like, because I was just confused, not necessarily upset or mad. I was just more confused as to how I had always been kind of loyal to my morals, and that still didn't kind of allow me to be accepted by everyone. But to be honest, not everybody is going to support you and appreciate what you do and is going to, you know, help you pursue your goals and your dreams. So although trolls can be hard, I think the best way to do things, out of the how hard it may be, is to just clap back with kindness, because you never know what they're going through.
Oh, thank you for that. So we've had some questions that some of the students have devised themselves. So I'm going to read out some of the questions. Okay. And this one is from Farida. So what made you want to become an actress, author, or YouTuber? And is there anyone who inspired you?
Thank you for your question also. I'd say what got me into doing YouTube was actually at the same event why we decided to become a speaker, funny enough, because there were so many like just different amazing people at that event. So I met a YouTuber there, and the idea just came to me. So then I was like, Mum, can I start doing speaking, or can I make a YouTube channel for myself? And I'm just very grateful that she has obviously been supportive from then and still to now. But that's how I kind of just got into YouTube. In terms of acting, I think it just kind of came along, not on purpose, just like everything else, to be honest, but just kind of came along, and I was like, well, I actually enjoy doing this, and it's fun to tell different stories through different characters. So I think that's what really got me into acting. But in terms of like my inspirations, I definitely say Zendaya was somebody who I massively looked up to when I was younger, who kind of, you know, was like, I want to be on TV one day, or I want to be in their shoes, and do what they're doing. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so Aisha wants to know how you manage your life as a YouTuber. So in terms of like, do you have enough family time for friends? How do you manage it all?
It's a lot about being organized, for sure. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming, because obviously you're like trying to juggle everything and also make sure you've got time for yourself to kind of take a breather, because I can't help other people if I'm not helping myself at the same time. So I definitely would say it is hard, but I think I still have time for my friends. I still have time to FaceTime them or talk to them or whatever it is. So I definitely just think it's a lot about, you know, I have a lot of to-do lists that definitely help me out. You know, ticking things off is very satisfying. It really does help you to get through the day and to obviously do like prioritize things. So I think just definitely the biggest thing is about being organized, but it hasn't always been easy, for sure.
I agree. Okay, so Rianne wants to know, what's your favorite motivational quote, if you have one?
Ooh, there are so many different ones, but I think a quote that really always sticks out to me is a quote somebody actually commented on one of my posts, and it was, you can't pour into others from an empty glass. And that like kind of blew me away, which is very metaphorical, so I'll kind of break it down, but it's basically like you can't help other people if you're not helping yourself, which is kind of going back to what I previously just said. But it definitely opened my eyes up a lot, because I was always helping people because that made me happy, and it obviously still does, but sometimes it can't be enough, and you can't be giving people all of your energy when it's not authentic, or it's not true, or it's not from your authentic mental state, if that makes sense. So that definitely sticks out to me a lot, that quote.
Yeah, brilliant. So Myra has asked, if you had superpowers, what would they be and why?
Oh, I love this question. I'd probably say like invisibility. I'd say invisibility for sure, because I love to travel. So if I was invisible, then I could literally, just get on a plane. Nobody would know I was there. You can just go anywhere you want, and no accommodation is needed. You can just have a dream life. You obviously you can't document it on social media because it's just a photo with you not being there because you're invisible. But I definitely say invisibility. It would be my superpower. It would allow me to do a lot of things, a lot of freedom.
Okay, brilliant. And Zara wants to know if you can give the students, the girls, any tips about how to cope with some of the pressures of school. What would you recommend?
I think with school, I'm not saying I do bad in school, but it can be overwhelming sometimes, and it's completely understandable to have pressures about school, and sometimes it's even hard for me to deal with those kind of things. But I think when it comes to pressure, I think do the most you can do, so that if you have an assessment or if you have a test to do, you know that you're going in there with the best to your ability. So if you're having a test, or ask your teacher when is going to be our next assessment, or ask them for a checklist for the things that are going to be in your test or something like that. So you revise for it, and then with your extra knowledge, or your knowledge that's going to take you to that next level, then you can go into that exam knowing that you've done everything you could to get the best grade that is to your ability. So I really think that was a big thing for me, because I was like, well, I keep getting nervous during tests. I keep kind of having panic attacks, like, oh my gosh, I revised, but what if it's not going to help me? What if it's going to be a reflection of like the revision doesn't even help me either? But it really is just about trying your absolute best and doing everything you can to do that, because then you're going to regret it afterwards. You're going to be like, well, could I have done better if I revised, or if I looked through my book maybe the day before or something? So I think just go into that, go into school with kind of no regrets, and do the best as you can, and don't bring yourself down from that, because you're doing your best. You're doing your
I think
best.
it's also about being resilient as well. So like what you were saying,
Yeah.
that no matter how negative the comments are, that you keep on going. I think that's really important to have that as to build on that at such a young age. So some of the questions that we're getting through are about your future plans. So Kendra asked, do you have any future plans? And our head teacher also asked, where do you see yourself in the next few years? So maybe like looking onto the age of 18 upwards, where do you see yourself? What, because you've got so many different avenues that you can go down. So where do you see yourself, Vanessa?
I see myself in a lot of different places, but I think it's a very common question that I get asked, but I definitely would say definitely acting. I would still want to pursue speaking, of course. I think just anything under public speaking, hosting events, presenting events. I'd love to do TV presenting. That's kind of like the big dream goal, I'd say. But I definitely say acting and presenting are definitely my major two goals at the moment. But when I'm 18, who knows what could be happening, what maybe apprenticeship I could get, or what job I could get. You never know what can happen, but that's kind of the idea that I have at the current moment.
Okay, so one of the questions that I like, because I actually know the answer to this already. So becoming the person that you are today, who is your backbone And who was that person that sticks with you through anything?
Yes, definitely my mum. Yes, of course. I think she always helps me strive for so much. And right now here in the UK, it's Mother's Day right now, so very, very relevant to the question. But she definitely helps me get through a lot. And I think without her, I don't know what I'd be doing. I think I'd be very unorganized. That's one of them, of course. But I'm just very grateful that she's always been supportive, and she's helped me strive to work hard and to show me that everything happens for a reason and timing is everything. So don't, let yourself down on this one, because you never know what could be happening in the future. So she definitely helps me see things from a different perspective, which is very, very crucial and helpful.
That's amazing. Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes left. So Stacey wants to ask, have you met any celebrities and who are they?
I have met a few celebrities actually. I do have the chance to meet them, and it's a very big honor. But I actually have met Zendaya. I've actually met her twice, and those were the two best days of my life that I always like to say. I went to the Wrinkle in Time premiere, the European premiere here in London, and I met Reese Witherspoon. And love her. She's just brilliant. I also got to meet Mindy Kaling. I've met Jon Favreau, actually, who is in the Marvel films. He plays Happy. I met him at the Lion King premiere, actually. I've met a few different people, not like the most recognizable names, but those memories will always stay with me forever.
Brilliant. Okay, so I don't know if there's anybody that's brave enough to switch their microphones on and ask Vanessa a question, but if you would like to answer a question, put your hand up and then we can nominate you. So is that Kendra?
Yes. My question is, what tips will you give to someone that's starting a YouTube channel?
Oh, thank you for your question and for turning on your mic. My advice for somebody who's starting a YouTube channel, well, I definitely think it's about, having your right idea that you want to do. There's a lot of things to learn about YouTube, and we can't go through that all right now, but it's definitely, I think, you need to know what you do. Make content and videos that you like to watch, and kind of mirror that from what you see from other big YouTubers. So if you want to do, I guess, unboxing videos or reviews, then look at what's the biggest thing that people are reviewing right now and do something similar to that. So it's kind of like looking at people's videos, analyzing it and seeing what you can do better and doing it into your own format. And consistency is really, really important. You need to make sure that you have a day when you're going to film your videos, edit them, and then post them. Because whenever you watch a TV show, you're going to be waiting for that TV show to come out at a certain time on that certain day. So people could be counting on you to post a new video, and if you don't do that, then people drop off. That's why consistency is really, really important. So those are my two biggest tips, but otherwise there's a lot of different things that you can learn. So just use YouTube as a resource, because I've learned so much about editing, algorithms and different things like that, and how to boost your videos out there by looking on YouTube. So just be resourceful is my biggest tip.
Thank you. And is it Marel?
It's Morale.
Marel.
Yeah. What is it like being famous?
I mean, I wouldn't really say I'm famous. I mean, thank you for that. But I guess it's just very, very normal. I mean, I go through the same things that all of you guys go through. I still have pressures of school and different things like that. You still have to struggle with different things. So I'm not any different to you guys, apart from the fact that I just do other things. But it can be very exciting, but it's also a very big responsibility as well, because you have to set a good example for others. So that's the biggest thing, to be a good role model is what it's kind of like from my perspective of things. But thank you for your question.
Okay, thank you. And Jaren?
So my question is, what's your favorite memory that you will never forget?
I mean, thank you for your question. I love that question. What's your favorite memory that I'll never forget? Ooh, good one. I think the day that I saw my talk show air on TV, that was, I think, a memory that I'll never forget. It was extremely exciting. So I have a talk show, it's called the Inspiring Vanessa show. And it was first on Amazon Prime, and then it got picked up by Sky TV. So it was really, really exciting and just a crazy just kind of process, but it was very, very amazing. For the first time I saw my interview come up on the TV and other people were posting about it, it was just kind of a very surreal moment alone. So I definitely will never forget that.
Brilliant. And can I have Catherine?
What do you enjoy most about YouTube?
What do you enjoy the most about YouTube?
What do I enjoy the most about YouTube? I think it's definitely the community that you make. It's a very big thing for me, like obviously when you get people to interact in the comment section or whatever it is, but you really do kind of make a family for other people, and I think that's really special, and you allow people to know that they belong somewhere on this kind of community online, which is really, really special, and people feel at home like that. So I think it's definitely the community and the people that you get to connect with on YouTube. But don't just connect with everyone, because that's not the most safe thing to do. But in terms of making a community on YouTube, it's very, very fun and special.
Oh, thank you. So we've got time for one more question. So Yamna, are you ready?
Yes, miss. I've always wondered, like, as someone that wanted to do, like, start doing motivation speeches for people, like to motivate people, I just never had the strength to do it.
Is that like confidence, Yamna? Like the confidence to do it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of like, how do you build on confidence to speak publicly, Vanessa?
I mean, first of all, that is amazing that you want to do speaking. That is so amazing to hear. I think confidence really comes from within. I know that's the most cliche thing, everybody's going to say that, but if people are going to be trying to help you out and being like, okay, do this, this, and this, and you're going to be confident in the next 24 hours, or, you know, different things like that you see online, but that won't actually get through to you if you don't accept it for yourself. It's the same thing with when you receive compliments, for example. People could be telling you the most amazing things about yourself, but if you didn't actually believe them and accept them, then it's not going to work. So I think you need to find the confidence from within yourself and to know that you are worthy to become a speaker, and that you can be a speaker, and that you can help and impact a lot of people. So I think you just really have to understand your worth in terms of confidence. But you know, I do actually have a book that is the 5 Secrets to Public Speaking Success, and you kind of got a lot of information about confidence in there especially, but there are a lot of things on how to start up with speaking. But obviously the first one, the most important thing, is to have confidence, and that really does come from within, and to believe in yourself. Otherwise you're not going to believe in yourself if people, when you understand what I mean, people won't. Yeah.
If you don't believe in yourself, others won't believe in you.
Yes.
That's what you mean. Brilliant. Okay, so I've got Peggy. Are you online, Peggy? Are you there?
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss, I'm here.
Peggy would like to say something on behalf of the ladies.
Vanessa, thank you so much for taking your time to have this interactive session with us, Mesaieed International students. I'd like to say personally that I really admire your confidence and courage towards all of the goals and objectives that you have set for yourself. I can say that when I was your age, I certainly wasn't doing this, but I feel like you're a huge inspiration for our generation in terms of children your age. I really hope that most young ladies look up to you and hope to pursue your dreams more with more confidence and like trust in themselves. Because in society today, you can tell that confidence really comes from within, and like the confidence that you have within is what you portray to people. That's what alerts people and lets people know that you are confident in yourself and that you don't care about what people say, because we are always surrounded by negativity, and it always depends on yourself and your strength, and that's the only thing that will help you move forward. So I just wanted to say thank you so much on the behalf of all the students in the meeting today. Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Peggy.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
I mean, you sound like you should be the motivational speaker, to be honest. I mean, you just speak very like, yeah. I just want to hear you speak more. But thank you so much. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
I don't know if anyone else, Kerry, does anyone else want to say anything before we wrap it up?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to pass to Mrs. Deacon, I think, because I think this has been absolutely amazing. I'll pass over to Mrs. Deacon.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Vanessa. I'm sorry for joining a little bit late. I had technical difficulties, but you know, being a female, being a lady, being a girl in the 21st century, you know, that brings its own challenges. And I think the biggest thing that I take from today is that ladies, we support each other, and to hear you speak, Vanessa, and to see the screen and all of our young, powerful, amazing ladies at Mesaieed nodding and going, yes, yes, and happy for you and pleased for you and admiring you. Do you know, I think that is the biggest takeaway from today, because that speaks volumes about the young generation of women that we have across the world. This is what women should be doing every single day. You know, we stand together, we support each other, and we celebrate together. So on behalf of a much, much older lady, speaking for the older generation, I'd like to thank you as well, and well done, Miss John, for finding Vanessa and bringing her to our school. It's been an absolute pleasure, and girls, I am so proud of every single one of you. Really, it's been a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Miss. Okay, that's the end of our talk, guys, so have a lovely afternoon. Thank you, Vanessa. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Have an amazing afternoon, day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You too.
Bye.
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 Vanessa.